What is happening, y'all? Cowboy here, and welcome back to another AC showcase, and this is Redshift, a heavy reverse joint sniper. Now, while I say sniper, the ranges that you're going to be shooting at, enemies typically aren't going to be where they were, but this still has the range necessary to hit stuff from incredibly far away, and it hits hard when it does. So let's dive in and talk about the build. As you can probably guess from the name Redshift, we are working with the Coral weaponry, and up first we have the Coral rifle. Now, a lot of these weapons you're going to need to be New Game++. This is a very endgame build, but this is a pretty interesting weapon. We got a single shot that has a little bit of AoE on it. The charge shot is essentially a rail cannon, and then lastly it has the full charge shot, which we're not going to use in PvP, but it's like a giant unwieldy fire hose of death that you can manual aim and actually change the direction of where it shoots. The hard thing is you can't really see what the hell's in front of you when you're shooting it, and you're locked in place, so we're not using that one in PvP. Moving on from there, we have the Coral Rifle Redshift. This is essentially just a Redshift version of the Nebula, but it's going to come with, well, we can compare it like this. You can see better attack power on it. We have a better direct hit adjustment, significantly so. And all in all, it's just, I don't know. I mean, more damage, more direct hit. That's what we want as a Redshift build. Let's work with it. Now, between the two of these, to be honest, if you are looking to get a hit off with one of them, I would suggest using the Redshift charged attack. Between the two of them, the Redshift charge will hit harder, even though looking at this would suggest it's higher, because those are stats for the full charge laser, not for the level 1 charge. So keep in mind, charged attacks, I would suggest going for the Redshift to get your pop shot. Moving on from there, onto the back units, we are working with double needle missile launchers. Now, these things are pretty interesting. You also get these in New Game++, and they are very fast. They have a bit of a lock time, but once they fire, it's like a kinetic needle that just shoots out and it hits stuff really hard. It does a lot of damage and it does a lot of stagger, and most of the time people don't see these coming. These hit and people are just like, what even just staggered me? I don't know what happened. And I don't see a lot of people using them, but they are a hell of a threat, especially if you can catch somebody unaware of them. Moving on to headpieces, one of my favorite go-tos, the Varil. Just, you can't beat this thing, man. It's so good. It's such a good, well-rounded headpiece, I think. I mean, if you look at the record, yeah, we got a little more AP, and yeah, explosive defense, but we lose out on all of our secondary stats. If you look at the Bash Show, same thing, besides the scan effect duration. But who needs a 14-second duration with a 340 range? Honestly, the Varil, I just think it's the best head in the game. It's an incredibly solid choice. Moving on from there, we're pulling out the HAL 826 once again. We primarily need this for the generator output adjustment so that we can rock one of the energy generators, but even then, it is very, very solid all around. You can see going for the other options that would give us more output adjustment. We have the Ephemera with significantly less defense, and then the VE40A, which puts us over the load limit. As for the gloves, not the gloves, the arms. Man, I need to sleep. The firearm specialization on the HAL 826 gets the job done. Anything that's going to be higher, we are not going to have the arms load needed to wield both of these Coral weapons. And then, of course, on the legs, the spring chicken, the heavy reverse joints. You want to be bouncy and be big? This is what you got to go with. Moving over to the booster, we're pulling out the NGI 001. This has a quick boost that's at 0.68. I would like it to be a little bit lower, but all in all, I do think this gets the job done pretty well. We have a decent amount of upward thrust on this as well, which I think is really nice on reverse joints, and anything that would have more upward thrust on it, unfortunately, isn't going to make the cut for us. As you can see, the Gridwalker would have more, but then we go to a whopping 2.15 second quick boost reload time. Not doing that. On to the FCS, the VE21B. Now, this one is going to give us more long range assist. However, keep in mind that we also want some missile lock. So the missile lock correction helps. And because PvP tends to happen in the medium range quite a bit, I think this is an overall better piece for this build. Lastly, we are rocking with the 20C, picking up a 128 energy firearm specialization. Unfortunately, even with HAL, we're not going to be able to hit energy load on the VE20B. Lastly, for the expansion, I like pulse armor for this build. Anything where I'm staying farther back, in general, I'm going to go for pulse armor. If you want to have assault to get away from people that are right on top of you, go for it. But in general, I find I keep away well enough to rock the pulse armor. Moving on from there into the paint. As you can see from the color scheme, the core, I went ahead and I put Design 18 large on it. I was trying to mimic kind of the look of coral when it's charging. So there's like a little bit of the red, there's a little bit of the pink, there's some whites in there, and it just kind of like threw up that flare, that vibe when the coral is charging up, which is what I wanted. The build's called Redshift after all. But aside from that, Redshift is ready to go. So there is the AC data on PC. If you don't have PC, well, now we're showing colors, so you can make it yourself. And let's jump in. Let's get into the nest. Let's go in. Let's knock it down to 2. That doesn't matter. Let's put that on all. And we're going to do some 1v1s with this, and then after that, we'll jump in and do some 3v3s. I'm thinking probably if I have time, we're going pretty fast now. I know I'm getting faster and faster on these build videos because, to be honest, I think the more I do them, the more I show stuff off, the more I'm hoping the same people are watching, and the more you're getting familiar with my choices and why I'm picking what I'm picking and whatnot. So a lot of these parts are like, hey, we've established this as a good headpiece. Hey, we've established this as generator output. But let's hop in. We'll try and get a few two matches in. We'll try and get some 3s in. I really like this in 3s. 2s, it's interesting because you're usually not going to be able to maintain that long range distance, that beyond 260 meters, but against a float tank I might, and this actually looks like it'll be a pretty good matchup. He has songbirds, and those look like plasma rifles, so he'll probably want to fight at range as well, but I think I got the advantage here. Very chic look too, very shiny. I know it's a Redshift build, and despite that, I'm not actually using the Redshift coral generator, but gotta have my energy boost, you know? Oh, look at the stun on those things, man. Hit with big hits. This will definitely struggle against something like shotgun rushdown, but you can maintain your distance with it. Oh man, I got the charge hit off there. That was beautiful. Nice little jump there with the RJs. Get them away. Part of me wants to just start calling it an RJ build, because that's what it's referred to, but I feel like there's so many new people. If I'm like, it's an RJ build, they're like, what's an RJ build? Oh man, you're getting in some damage with those plasmas. Got far enough away to break the lock, and oh, that was smart. He waited out my my armor. Boom with those needles, man. Everyone's talking about the stun needles. No one's talking about the shoulder needles. It's a good match, though. It's close. I've really miffed up the second round there. think my new rule is going to be I search if I don't find somebody on like the second attempt. I think I'm just going to start making a lobby and then hoping. Ah, he's got the Undertaker emblem. I like it. I like it. Little 86 reference there. Really interesting mecha anime. It's actually pretty good. I grew up watching a lot of mech anime. I grew up on like Gundam Wing, and Gundam Wing was that. I mean, it's funny, I haven't watched any Gundam since Gundam Wing, but man, I remember I had a bunch of Gundam themed ACs back in 5. Dude straight bailed because he has no balls. I've heard really good things about The Witch from Mercury. I've heard a lot of people say it's like really, really good, but I haven't actually seen it. But 86 is a very different kind of mech anime. It's very gritty. It's about these people who are essentially like they're branded slaves because they don't have like pure white hair like the people that run society, and they're forced to go and fight this war, and all the citizens believe that the war is being fought by autonomous machines, and it's actually slaves fighting the war, and they're fighting against AI, and it turns out that the AI like takes dead people and adds them into the like hive mind conscious, and it's wild. It is wild. That's what Undertaker is from. Unfortunately, that dude's a bitch and nothing like the character in the anime, because a real Undertaker would put up his hands and fight me to the death. Caught in 4K, bucko. Laser pistols. All right. I see you. Now that I know I can get the stun off on a single hit. No, not a single hit. Close to a single hit, though. Probably the one big downside with this build, I think it struggles a bit in terms of its overheating. These guns tend to overheat fairly quickly, which is not something I'm a giant fan of, but you know, it's a Coral build. It is what it is. You want to do the Coral thing, you deal with what you got. And I mean, yeah, I could do a better job probably of managing my heat. That stun was huge right there. That was big. That was a really big stun. Redshift reigns supreme, baby. All right, let's jump in and get a 3v3 going here. 6 players. Oh, it's locked though. Oh, end match anyway. Well, not waiting for that. Search rooms, member rotation. I just don't want to find locked. Just because that's usually, if it's locked, it's typically a pre-made. Which, most of the time, not really a huge concern, but problem with pre-mades is, you know, at the end of the day, if you have 3 people on Discord, even if they're all rather kind of mediocre, 3 people coordinating is huge compared to 3 people that don't know what they're doing. Oh, this guy says he's done for the day. Alright, let me just make my own damn lobby. So we're gonna go 6-player lobby teams. Let's go on I haven't done refueling base in a bit. Member rotation, losers rotate, create. Oh, 5 minutes, create. All right, hopefully this doesn't take that long to fill up. I feel like this is the ideal team match. But while we're waiting for it to fill up, let's talk about upcoming builds. So, taking a look at AC data, the Ibis build will be up soon. To be honest, it's mostly just a themed build. I might actually do that after this one, just while we're, on the note of Redshift stuff. Chef is definitely going up. Kind of a gimmick, but he's really fun to play with. Mr. Thick, literally play with arms overburdened and it works. It's amazing. As for Bubbles, Bubbles needs to be reworked. I mean, it's a funny little gimmick. He needs some changes. On to User 3. I'm still not sure what I want to do with the actual Cowboy build. I can't decide on weapons that I like for it. This one is, I might upload this. This is a really good kind of flex build, has a little bit of everything. And then I have plasma beams, laser beams, and the Kurosawa beams, but they're all just like very similar variations of the same thing, which is just a energy-based tetrapod. So I'm like, do I really want to upload all of them? This is the exact same as Cold Steel. We just put it on tetra legs. I'm probably going to do either Floaty Boy or Zippy Boy next, but he still needs work. Zippy Boy, I'm debating what I want for his shoulder slot, so he's not done. So I might do Floaty Boy next, because this is a manual aim-oriented build, which is really interesting and kind of goofy to play, but when it works out, it really works out. So that would be a really cool one to show off, just to give people an idea of a good use case for manual aim. So more than likely expect that next. I need, I don't know, I feel like maybe I should combine some of the tetrapod builds, because the one is just, I have 4 lasers, and the one's like, I have 4 plasma. And it's like, you're all kind of the same fucking thing, It's like the chocolate ice cream versus the double chocolate ice cream. Like, yeah, you're still just chocolate. Anyway, we got shotties, plasma and gats, and Redshift. Ooh, it's another Redshift build. It's another Redshift build. And then a fast shotty tank and some dude with lasers. Laser handguns, I think those are. Big hit. He actually tried using it, you absolute maniac of a man. I'm gonna show you why you don't do that. That's because you just died. Oh shit, my lock messed up. Okay. Man, who is that? Unit 3? Stop that shit. Actually worked out. I was running out of ammo. I gotta start doing some work here. We are down a good amount of points. Not bringing the usual showing that I do to builds to this one. Oh god, I accidentally overcharged it. That's why, this is why I don't charge it. Oh, fuck, you're annoying. Damn. What do you have on his back? Are those laser cannons? That seemed to work pretty well. Zippy little shotgun guy doing some fucking hustling right now. Oh shit, I'm dumb. I'm so dumb, I forgot I still had hard lock on from when I went for the kick earlier. Stop that. What are you doing? Stop that. Oh, also, you don't need to wait for lock on with that if somebody is completely stationary. If they are stationary, you can just fire them out. So, like right there, he wasn't moving. I just loosed them. Loosed. Well, we lost, but I think I did pretty good there. 475. Not bad considering I was accidentally playing with hard lock and shitting my own accuracy out. Well, I'm fine losing a teammate who was worse than me. Yeah, we'll get one more match in, and then we'll wrap things up. I think around, like, keeping it just under 30 minutes seems to be a sweet spot to give, like, a good showing of how effective the build is. Damn, what is happening? Everybody's bailing. I don't care. I'm keeping my lobby up. I'm ready to go. Other people are gonna join. I really don't want to have to edit this one. I need people to join or I'm gonna have to do editing. I don't want to do editing. Editing is the bane of my existence. Yes, that's one. 3 more. 3 more. Join the lobby. Join the lobby. People not like the Jorgen refueling base? It's such a fun map. Two more. 2 more. Alright, there we go. Even with a 5-minute match, we're still right around 30 minutes, so I ain't editing shit. No, I should, but we've discussed this. I can't get these builds done as fast. It goes from a 30-minute video to make a build to a 2-hour, sometimes longer editing thing. What's annoying is the crash, because it'll get like, the rendering only would take like 15 minutes, but it would get like 13 minutes in crash, 12 minutes in crash, 14 minutes and 59 seconds crash, and I'm like, what is happening? And Adobe support's like, oh, we don't know. Have you tried uninstalling and reinstalling? Have you tried doing this? Have you tried doing that? I'm like, listen, this is a brand new PC build, alright? It's not something wrong with the PC. It's something wrong with your software. Should just switch to DaVinci already. Nice. Fired that off a little premature there. Oh! Going down. Alright, we got a pretty commanding lead. I already mentioned this is kinda shit in PvP, but I'm gonna do it anyway. I mean, it does a lot of damage, don't get me wrong. It's just actually landing that. Usually that's not gonna land the way you think it's gonna land. You see, it's like a big old wacky thing. What did I call it? A fire hose earlier? That's probably the most apt comparison to it. Oh, I got stunned out of it. Give me my shield. I'm trying to do wacky waving beam man. Get off of me. Apparently they do not like wacky waving beam man. I kind of want to see somebody that's just like dual using these, like they're just waving giant lasers all over the battlefield, and everyone's like, can somebody please kill this fucking guy? Not the best performance, but I'll take it. So that is going to wrap things up for Redshift. Definitely more on the gimmick side of things. You know, we're working explicitly with the Redshift weapons, with the coral weapons. But if you really want to use coral weapons, I think it does a decent job at getting the job done. So either way, we are going to wrap things up. I think up next we're going to be pulling out the hover tank, which is very interesting levels of shenanigans and strictly a team-based thing. But regardless, I think it's worth seeing. So stay tuned, and I'll catch you next time with more.